Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm hoping you're not going to stand the whole time. You looked very serious on the way in, and then I saw more smiles as the line continued, so I hope this is a really fun afternoon for you. Good afternoon, I'm Kevin Black, and I have the privilege as serving as interim dean of the Penn State College of Medicine. The college and this health system have been my home for 26 years, and I'm very much honored to have been asked to serve in this role. I want to welcome our 152 new medical students. On behalf of our faculty, our staff, and the communities you will serve, we're honored that you have chosen Penn State College of Medicine. We look forward to helping you achieve your goal of becoming a physician. I also want to welcome your family and friends. Your loved ones have played a vital role in your efforts to come this far, and we thank them for being here with us today. This white coat ceremony is very special. It marks an important rite of passage in every medical student's journey toward becoming a physician. The purpose of the ceremony is to remind you that even though you will spend a lot of time studying the foundational sciences in your early medical education, at the center of your learning are human beings that you will care for, even as first-year students. When I was a medical student, we did not have a white coat ceremony. It began in 1993 at Columbia University by Dr. Arnold Gold, a well-known figure in the humanities movement in medicine. Prior to that time, students recited the Hippocratic Oath at the end of their medical education. But Dr. Gold believed that was 4 years too late. He felt it was important that students take the oath in front of their loved ones, their peers, and their medical school's leadership at the beginning of their medical education to acknowledge their core obligation to care for patients and to do no harm, and to emphasize the humanistic core of our profession. You are Penn State College of Medicine's 52nd incoming class. We have a black and white photograph of the inaugural class that we show at our employee orientation meetings. This year's class looks very much different from that one. In that first class, there were 3 women. This year, there are 92 women. That's 61% of the class. It's hard to tell from that 1967 photograph if any of the students came from an ethnic population other than Caucasian. But I do know that your class boasts much broader diversity in so many ways. Your unique backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives will enrich us all. Together, we will become better doctors, better advocates for our patients, and better human beings. I commend you for signing the Diversity Pledge, promising to do all that you can to ensure that our college's campus and community life remain a safe environment for all. And for our guests here today, you can read this pledge on a poster that is located on an easel outside this room. It clearly affirms my personal and our college's commitment to creating an inclusive culture for all. This is a really exciting time to be entering the medical profession. Every day, there are new discoveries that give us deeper insights into improving health. Each day, we learn more about how our physical and social environments, our upbringing, and our individual DNA may hold the key to preventing, detecting, and better treating illnesses. And as medicine is evolving, so also is the role of the physician. Today's physicians are challenged to look at medicine more comprehensively. We must collaborate as teammates with nurses, therapists, social workers, care coordinators, clergy, and others across the entire spectrum of healthcare. Most importantly, we collaborate with patients and their families. We are challenged to focus on the overall care of the patient rather than on the treatment of a singular illness. In the past, if your patient had a diseased heart valve, you focused on repairing it. Today, we commit to the fact that prevention, wellness, and quality of life are just as important as healing. You won't always be able to heal, but you will always have the opportunity to improve lives through honesty, kindness, respect, and compassion. Although you will care for thousands of patients in your career, you must always remember that for the patient, seeing a doctor is a special event in their lives, no matter how serious you view their problem. And you must honor their respect and trust with your commitment to them. I remind you of what Dr. Francis Peabody once said: "The secret of the care of the patient is in caring for the patient." You'll hear more about, or from the next few speakers, about what it means to truly care for patients because they do it so well. I'm sure all of you are excited and perhaps a little nervous about what the next few years will hold. I guarantee you they will go quickly, and I'm confident that you will be successful. You will work hard and be challenged in many ways. It is also essential that you take care of yourself physically and emotionally. Our College of Medicine is fully committed to your development into an outstanding physician. In closing, I would like to thank the members of our faculty and staff and student body that are here today to show their support for our new medical students. Thank you for everything that you do to make Penn State College of Medicine a truly exceptional and welcoming place for our new students. And I have the privilege of extending a very special thank you to a group of Penn State College of Medicine alumni and friends who generously donated custom Penn State stethoscopes to every member of this incoming class. Some of these alumni are among our earlier medical school graduates, and some graduated just last year. You can find their names in today's program. Your stethoscopes are engraved with the lion shield and the text, "We are Penn State," as a reminder that your College of Medicine education begins with a white coat, a stethoscope, and a community that opens you with arms wide open. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Terry Wolpaw, our Vice Dean for Educational Affairs. Dr. Wolpaw.
So thank you, Dr. Black. And let me add my gratitude to our alumni and friends who gifted our first-year medical students with their Penn State stethoscopes. This is a gift that I'm sure you will treasure for the rest of your lives. Welcome to our first-year medical students, your families, and guests. It is an honor to welcome our 52nd entering class to Penn State College of Medicine and to its outstanding programs of study. We welcome 140 of you to our Hershey curriculum and 12 of you to our University Park curriculum. We welcome all of you to our annual White Coat ceremony at the Penn State College of Medicine. This is among my favorite ceremonies, and I think it's because this ceremony, above all others, is about putting on your white coat for the first time and feeling both the humility and the awe as you wear it. We have much to celebrate and much to share with you during today's ceremony. We'll celebrate each of you as you enter our community of learning how to care for and support human beings in times of health and in times of illness. We will share our thoughts, our advice, our hopes, and our dreams as you step onto the path of becoming a physician. Today, you will share your student oath that you've written during these past 2 weeks, an oath that represents the aspirations you have for yourselves, for each other, and for the patients that you will serve. When the formal ceremony is completed, all who have gathered here today will celebrate you and the journey you have chosen. You are entering the profession of medicine at a time when our healthcare system is changing in dramatic and unforeseeable ways. In these times of rapid and dramatic change, we can find our North Star by focusing on the real goals of medicine. These goals emerge from the 4 pillars that provide the strong foundation for our medical curriculum: the biomedical sciences, the clinical sciences, the health system sciences, and the health humanities. In 1967, the founders of Penn State College of Medicine focused on their North Star when the doors to this college opened. Positioning a Department of Humanities side by side with the biomedical and clinical science departments was a first in any medical school. And for education, positioning the study of humanities side by side with the research requirement was also utterly visionary. Look today what sense and importance that makes. Humanities and health system science play a vital role in shaping medical education at Penn State. These areas will inspire you, all of us, to share in the patient's experience with illness and their journey, which is often not smooth, through the healthcare system. Let me close my thoughts with my hopes for you. It's my hope that when you leave here as doctors of medicine, that you will have a keen focus on your North Star, that you will be respected not for just what you know, but for how you care. I hope that each time you put on your white coat, you will remember the humility and the awe of wearing it for the first time today. So for a moment, look at yourselves right now, because in a few minutes, you're going to be a little different than you were when you walked in the door. So that is my hope for you. And welcome not only to medical school, which I got to do on your first day, but welcome to your first day of wearing a white coat, and welcome to your first day of beginning to own it. Thank you. Now I have the privilege of introducing our keynote speaker, Dr. Susan Glad. Dr. Glad personifies Penn State's tradition of humanism in medicine and medical education. Dr. Glad is an associate professor in the Department of Medicine and a member of the Palliative Medicine Center of Excellence at Penn State Health. Her clinical work is in the field of palliative medicine, where she helps to control symptoms and maximize the quality of life for individuals with life-altering illness. She serves as the interim director of the Woodward Center for Excellence in Health Sciences Education. She graduated from Penn State College of Medicine and then completed her internal medicine residency training at the University of Pittsburgh, after which she earned a master's degree in medical education from the University of Cincinnati and the Cincinnati Children's Hospital. She is a recipient of many awards. She's a recipient of the College of Medicine Junior Faculty Teaching Award, the Department of Medicine Distinguished Physician Award, the Scholarship and Education Award, and the Distinguished Educator Award. Her scholarly work centers around communication skills, education, and narrative medicine, and her beautiful narrative works have been published in JAMA, the Annals of Internal Medicine, and the New England Journal of Medicine. It is my true privilege to introduce and welcome Dr. Susan Glad.
Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to come and speak with you today. It's a great honor. You know, I think if there is one universal commonality amongst physicians, it is their love of the narrative. You walk up to any bunch of doctors, they're telling stories. We love to talk about the types of people we meet, the types of diseases that we see. We talk about our monumental successes. And I should warn you, as a general rule, physicians are really good at making every success seem monumental. And so we talk about that day when we reached way back in our brain and pulled out that obscure diagnosis that no one else had thought of, or performed that really complicated procedure that nobody else could do, and it worked, and we helped someone. Everyone in this room who's wearing a long white coat or ever has worn one knows that feeling. We talk about our failures too. We have to, because it's the only thing that helps to keep us whole. And so we talk about the day when we missed that simple diagnosis that was staring us straight in the face, or performed that procedure that should have been so simple but went so terribly wrong. And those days are hard because we know that we were the one who made the mistake, but some other person, some other family paid the price. Everybody in this room wearing a long white coat or who's ever worn one knows that feeling too. Part of the reason why storytelling is so important for us is because it really anchors us to that one thing about being a physician, that one important thing that takes this from a career and elevates it to an avocation. And that is the understanding and appreciation of the fact that during our careers, each of us will be a part of the story for so many other people. Don't get me wrong, you still got to know a lot of stuff. You still have to learn the biochemistry and the immunology and the physiology and understand the health system sciences and learn how to ask all the right questions and palpate and percuss and auscultate in all the right places and ask all the right questions and order all the right tests and perform all the right surgeries. And at the end of the day, if you do all of that right, sometimes it's enough. Sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes you can draw on that skill set, you could do everything exactly the way it should be done and still fail. And those are the days that challenge us because they force us to make a choice. You can choose to say, I'm sorry, I can't help you, and turn around and walk away. Or you can choose to accept the reality that you can't fix every problem, but you can help every person by supporting them in that relationship that you've built with them, by walking with them through their illness, by doing whatever you could think of to change their story for the better, even if it's only by a little bit. And I'm of the opinion that when that happens for the first time in someone's career, when you look across the room and you see another human being who's counting on you, and you don't know what to do next, but you commit to doing what you can, that is the moment you become a physician. It's not the last day of medical school. It's not when you walk across this stage and pick up your diploma. It's not when you pick up your pager during intern orientation. It's that moment. And so I would like to tell you a story about that moment. This is the story of Jeff and Betty. Jeff was a third-year medical student when he and I worked together a few years ago, and we were both working together on a team that was responsible for caring for people who had come to the emergency department and were too sick to go home. And so they had to get admitted to the hospital. And one day we got called down to the emergency room to meet Betty. Betty had breast cancer. She had been undergoing treatment for several years, but she was doing okay. She was at home, she was working, she was visiting with her family, up until a few days before we met her, when she began to become increasingly confused and anxious and agitated. And Jeff and I walked down into the emergency room to see her, and it was a hard room to be in, because there she was in the gurney, anxious, agitated, yelling, screaming, kicking, surrounded by this group, this wonderful family. These children, many of whom were younger than Jeff, who had this identical look of bewilderment on their faces, that the woman in that gurney could be the same person who was their loving, caring, compassionate mother. But Jeff didn't miss a beat. He walked up to Betty. He did what he could to calm her down. He asked her some questions. He examined her. And then he turned to her children, and he very honestly said, "I don't know what's wrong, but we're going to do our best to figure it out." And that's exactly what he did. Every morning he went in to see Betty, and she yelled at him, and she fought him off, and she wouldn't let him examine her. And he did his best, and he came out, and he used every skill that he had to try to figure out the right test, the right treatment, the right thing to do to help her get back to the woman that her family would recognize. One of the tests that we did was a CAT scan of Betty's brain, and it showed that the cancer had spread there. And we thought that that was probably at least part of the reason why she was so confused. Well, one day we walked in and something miraculous had happened. We came in the door, and there was Betty sitting up in bed. Her hair was combed, her makeup was on, she had her readers, she had the Patriot News in front of her, and she turned and smiled at us and said, "Good morning, how can I help you?" And I was amazed, because I didn't really think that we had done that much to help Betty, but I asked her a couple of questions, and it rapidly became clear that Betty was completely lucid. And so I said, "Betty, I'm sorry to dump this all on you all at one time, but do you remember anything about what's been going on in the hospital?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Do you want me to tell you?" And she said, "Yes." And so I started to tell her. And as I was talking, Jeff came around and sat at the bedside chair and just kind of put his arm on the handrail of her bed. And I told her what had been going on, and when I got to the part about the CAT scan, she reached out and grabbed his hand and squeezed. And he squeezed back. And when I had explained everything, she had some questions, and finally she said, "Will I die from this?" And I said, "Yes, I'm sorry. I wish I had a different answer for you. I think that you will." And Betty wept, and I wept, and Jeff wept. And after a while I said, "Betty, look, is there anything we can do? What can we call your children? Can we bring you something? Can we get the chaplain here? Anything, what can we do?" And Betty kind of paused and put her head to one side, and this mischievous look came into her eye, and she said, "Milky Way." And I stood there trying to keep my face kind of passive, thinking inside my head, what the heck is she talking about? Milky Way? What does she mean? And so I did what every good doctor does when they think that their patient has told them something important, but they're not sure what it means, which is to repeat the last words that you heard in the form of a question. And so I said, Milky Way? And she said, yeah, I've been here for 3 days. You've given me nothing but Jell-O. I'm dying anyway. I'm not eating any more kale. I like Milky Ways. I want one. So I said, okay, we're going to get you a Milky Way. So we came back out into the hall. And Jeff said, listen, Dr. Glad, I got this. You go to clinic. I am going to get the Milky Way. And so I said, okay, and I went to clinic. Now, I know you're thinking that that's not really a big deal, but I would just like to remind everyone where we are right now. We're in Hershey, Pennsylvania, in the Hershey Lodge, at the White Coat ceremony for the Milton S. Hershey College of Medicine, and I hope that you all read the fine print very carefully on your acceptance letter, because if not, allow me to be the first one to tell you that you have sworn off of all chocolate products other than Hershey Foods products for the next 4 years. No more M&Ms. But Jeff persevered. He did eventually have to go across campus, sprint over Route 322 and go the Turkey Hill across the street to get the Milky Way. It was snowing. He did not go uphill both ways. We don't have hills here. But he did it. And so after clinic, I came back and I wanted to just check on Betty. And so I went into the room. And there were the two of them. There's Betty sitting up in bed. And there's Jeff in the bedside chair. And there on the bedside table is this gigantic pile of candy bar wrappers. And they both looked up, and there's caramel all over their teeth and chocolate smudges all over their fingers, and it was beautiful. And so it rapidly became clear to me that I was really just a third wheel, and I thought, okay, I'm going to say some nice thing and get myself out of the room and go. And so I said, Betty, I'm really glad that you got your Milky Way. And Betty turned to Jeff and put her hand on his arm and looked him in the eye and said, yeah, my doctor got it for me. And I had the great honor of standing across from him and watching the transformation that came across his face. From this initial shock and denial and no, I'm not your doctor, to this realization and gratitude. And finally, just an acceptance. I saw him just accept the weight of that. And he took a little breath and squared his shoulders and smiled back at her. And that was it. That was the moment that he became a physician. And so what I would ask of you is to pay attention. Watch for that moment. There's no fanfare. Nobody tells you when it happens. But it's that moment when you look across the room and you see another human being and you're not sure what to do, and you don't know if you can help, and you don't know what the next step is, but you commit to doing what you can for the person in front of you, no matter what. That is the moment you become a physician. Thank you all so much. It was a great honor.
So when you're in our hospital and you're walking in the halls and you have an opportunity to see Dr. Glad, take a moment. Thank you. So I'd now like to introduce our student speaker for the afternoon, Mr. Lou Levine. Now, Lou is the president of the class of 2020. He's a fourth-year medical student here at Penn State College of Medicine and has proudly served his class, the class of 2020, since his first year in Hershey. He's originally from the suburbs of Connecticut and completed his undergraduate degree in nutritional sciences and health policy at Cornell University in 2016. Lou is passionate about medical education and is currently pursuing a joint MD/MED program here at Penn State, one of our dual degree programs, and will graduate next year. In his part-time job with student government, he's gotten a glimpse of medical education and says that he can't wait to study it further. He'll be applying for residencies this year in internal medicine and hopes to practice in an academic setting. Outside of studying, he enjoys playing soccer, running, watching TV, and being with his family. Lou is an amazing medical student, and I think you are really privileged for him to be able to share some of his words with you today. So welcome, Lou.
All right. So thank you, Dr. Wolpoff, for the introduction. And to the faculty, staff, the entering class of 2019, and all your family and friends, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak with you on this incredibly special day. And Dr. Glad is right. We all like stories. So in talking with you today, there are 3 key points that I'm going to try and make, and I'm going to try and illustrate all of them with a recent story. So a couple months ago, I was traveling to Sacramento, California for a wedding. It was a nonstop overnight flight from Boston. And about 3 hours into the flight, I heard over the intercom what I thought you only really heard in the movies. It said, "If there's anyone in the medical field, please come to the front of the plane right away." And so I peered out into the aisle just to see one elderly woman get up from her seat, probably close to 80 years old. I later found out she was a retired nurse. And I questioned in my seat whether I was qualified as a medical professional, but ultimately made the decision to get up out of my seat and check it out. We found the 50-year-old woman lying face down outside the bathroom at the front of the plane, incontinent, clothes and floor stained with vomit, not responding to any questions. So the flight attendants explained what they saw to me and to the retired nurse, that she had been traveling alone, seemed fine when she got on the plane, had 1 cheese plate and an alcoholic beverage. And because she wasn't responding, I quickly sprang into action, using what I've learned here at Penn State. One thing you're going to hear over and over again is the ABCs: airway, breathing, circulation. This is the most important first step in an emergency. So I grabbed the stethoscope that the flight attendants had, and I listened to her heart and lungs, both of which sounded pretty good. And then I felt her pulse. It was weak, and her extremities were cool. Shockingly, they did have a blood pressure cuff on the plane, and I tried to take a blood pressure amidst the turbulence and the sounds of the airplane engine. And if there's going to be one thing that you guys will master by the end of this first year of medical school, you are going to be able to take a rock star blood pressure. It's going to help, even on a plane. So her blood pressure was low, but it was stable. And it was at this time that I started to feel nervous and I was shaking. And I think it was because once we were done with the ABCs, we had to figure out what we were going to do next. And so I thought about what this could be. You're going to be asked 1,000,000 times in medical school, what's the differential diagnosis? So I thought, she did lose some urine. Could she have had a seizure? Did she just have low blood sugar or food poisoning? Was it just motion sickness? Her medications that I didn't know anything about? Or was she just maybe a little drunk? After some time, she did start to respond, but she was still very confused, very agitated. Feeling her cool extremities and her thready pulse again, and seeing all this vomit and urine around me, I knew what this dehydrated lady ideally needed. and that was fluids. Of course, we didn't want to give her anything by mouth because she's been throwing up. We didn't want her to aspirate. Fortunately, we got in touch with the medical professional on call on the ground who confirmed what we were thinking when they said IV fluids would probably help. And I truly thought I was dreaming when all of a sudden the flight staff pulls out a bag of normal saline, a couple IV needles, and all the IV tubing and offers it over. And for what it's worth in medical school, I could count on one hand the number of IVs that I've placed myself, all of which have been in a controlled setting. This was quite the opposite of a controlled setting. But the retired nurse, though out of practice, was an expert in IVs and IV tubing. She said that she felt comfortable setting up the IV tubing to the fluids and that whole apparatus, but was rightfully hesitant to kind of get down on her hands and knees and establish access herself, given that there was a lot of turbulence and also she was around 80 years old. So, with a bit of hesitation, I grabbed the tourniquet and I wrapped it around her forearm, and I saw a nice vein on the back of her hand. And with a couple deep breaths and pretending I was back at the simulation center over at the hospital, I went in for that vein. And this is no perfect story because I was putzing around in there and couldn't get much of anything back. So after I got a little bit frustrated, I came out and tried the other arm. A couple more deep breaths, went in, and after some manipulation in that second spot, some blood came out of the tubing. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, did I just do that and place an IV in this person on a plane? And I did. And so I flushed the line to make sure it was going, and the nurse was able to get those fluids running. So we were now getting pretty close to Sacramento, and we worked to reposition the patient, knowing that eventually she had to be in some sort of a seat when we landed the plane. So we worked together to carry her to a row that we cleared out so that she could lay there while the plane began its descent. After checking in on her every so often, we finally landed, where EMS personnel rushed onto the plane, took her on a gurney, and brought her to the hospital. That was the last time I saw her. So there are a few points that I gleaned from this story and want to share with you, the entering class of 2019, as you begin your journey here at Penn State College of Medicine. At times, you will think you can't do much because you're just a medical student. I want you to know that you can and you are going to make a difference. Now, I'm not sure if I saved that woman's life that night on the plane, but what I do know is that she did not die on our watch. And I also know that you would not believe how grateful the flight staff and every passenger was for what we had done, even if it was just starting an IV and giving her a little bit of fluids. So I could have just as easily not gotten up when I heard that message on the intercom, but I remembered, as medical students, we are learning what seems like an infinite amount of medical knowledge, and we have committed ourselves to this life, to this profession of helping others 24/7, regardless of the circumstances. The second point is that medicine is a team sport. Had we not all worked together, I'm not even sure the IV fluids would have been a possibility. With teamwork, we got that task done for our patient. Very soon, you're going to be working with many other medical professionals. The healthcare system works best when every healthcare worker is able to use their expertise to care for patients. And lastly, I want you to know that support is paramount. Undoubtedly, you're going to have one or more experiences like the one I've described. The next morning after the flight, I pretty much immediately had to call my family and tell them the whole story. Decompression is an important mechanism for handling the very normal stresses of medical school. Know that the people in this room are going to be there for you whenever you need them, and make sure that you take the time to call them, not only to decompress, but also to share in these amazing stories you're going to soon be a part of. And it's also just as important for everyone out here in the audience to check in with your student, because while you may not be able to share the exact same feeling of what they're going through, you can hear them out. So in summary, those are my 3 points that I wanted to get across. You can make a difference, teamwork makes the dream work, and your support system is crucial. Thanks again, that's all I got, and good luck.
So Lou, let me get this straight. She was in the front of the plane, is that right? So this is quite a way to get a first class seat, huh? All right, thank you, that was wonderful. Now I'd like to introduce the distinguished members of our faculty who will participate in today's ceremony as cloakers to assist our new students in donning their white coats. Please come forward as I introduce you and take your position on the stage, please. First, Dr. Roberta Millard, Assistant Professor of Orthopedics and Rehabilitative Medicine and Team Physician, Penn State Athletics, the University Park Curriculum. Dr. Millard. Dr. Muna Manasser, Assistant Professor of Family and Community Medicine and the head of the Waldhausen Society. Dr. Nasser. Dr. Bernadette Gilbert, Assistant Professor of Family and Community Medicine and the head of the Vashtian Society. Dr. Gilbert. Dr. Amy Burns, Assistant Professor of Surgery, the Division of Urology, the Mortel Society. Dr. Burns. And Dr. Timothy Palmer, Assistant Professor of Pediatrics and the head of the Bond Society. At this time, I'd like to invite Dean Black to come up to the stage to greet each of our students after they've donned their white coats. I'd also like to invite our alumni representatives to come onto the stage because they will be handing out the stethoscopes. We'll let everybody get in position. Now, students, in a few moments, each of you will come to the microphone here on my left, and I'm going to actually take it off and let you hold it, all right? And I want you to introduce yourself by stating your name, your hometown, and your school, okay? Name, hometown, and school. Now, please hold the microphone close and speak directly into it so that every person can hear, everybody in the audience will be able to hear you. And then pass the mic on to the person behind you. And then go ahead and walk across the stage to your society head who will assist you in putting on your white coat. And then you can proceed to be greeted by Dr. Black and the alumni who will then give you your stethoscope. You will notice a few special cloakers today. As a part of our tradition, students whose family members are alumni or family of our College of Medicine may choose to be cloaked by them. So I'm going to ask the audience to hold your applause until all of our students are wearing their white coats. And students, will the first row rise and come forward?
Ready to go? Devin Ackerman, Hanover, Pennsylvania, East Stroudsburg Warrior.
Carolina Alvarez, Weston, Florida, Vassar College. Shavini Atakarala, New York, New York, New York University.
Farah Alcleo, Tinton Falls, New Jersey, and the University of Pennsylvania.
Jane Frances Chimezie Aruma, Nigeria, Lincoln University, Pennsylvania.
Rawan Alhaum, New Jersey, Rutgers University.
Kailash Anthraper, New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, Millersville University.
Thomas Barrett, Bridgewater, New Jersey, Muhlenberg College.
Daniel Berger, El Cerrito, California, and Cal Poly.
Shara Chopra, State College, Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania State University.
McKenna Brzezinski, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Wake Forest University.
Justin Brook, Blue Springs, Missouri, the University of Missouri.
Parker Burrows, West Haven, Utah, Weber State University.
Rucha Borkateria, Islin, New Jersey, the College of New Jersey.
Lauren Dennis, Bell Vernon, Pennsylvania, Regent University.
David Brinton, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Shannon Broombaugh, Mapleton Depot, Pennsylvania, Juniata College.
Catherine Caldwell, Emporium, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Olivia Calisi, Long Island, New York, Boston University.
Randy Galan, what is it again? East LA, California, University of Utah.
Catherine Carlisle, Malvern, Pennsylvania, Boston College.
Kimberly Chan, Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, University of Michigan.
Mackenzie Chiam, Edgewater, New Jersey, Villanova University.
Michael Carter, Charlottesville, Virginia, Brigham Young University.
Ryan Higgins, Issaquah, Washington, Seattle Pacific University.
Joshua Chen, Lansdale, Pennsylvania, Temple University.
Jacob Colello, York, Pennsylvania, Liberty University.
Andrew Cross, Benton, Pennsylvania, Bloomsburg University.
Pierce Curran, Setauket, New York, Case Western Reserve University.
Noor Kami, Assumption College, Syria.
Nicholas D'Alonzo, Port Washington, New York, the University of Scranton.
Younguk Dan, Daegu, South Korea, Northwestern University.
Joseph Dow, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Georgetown University.
Matthew DeRoque, Annville, Pennsylvania, Messiah College.
Michelle Lee, Warner Robins, Georgia, Washington University in St. Louis.
Kunal DeBroy, Chantilly, Virginia, and the College of William and Mary.
Martha Doxey, University of Massachusetts Amherst from Lexington, Mass.
Elizabeth Durda, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, Lebanon Valley College.
Denali Davis, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Brandon Portnoff, Ellicott City, Maryland, the Pennsylvania State University.
Ann Dimick, Hershey, Pennsylvania, Franklin and Marshall College.
Garrett Dunn, Lancaster, Ohio, Washington and Jefferson College.
Brandon Eden, Allentown, Pennsylvania, Muhlenberg College.
Alana Ebbett, Greencastle, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Olga Prokonina, Moscow, Russia, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Natalie Eichner, Arlington, Virginia, University of Virginia.
Cody Endress, Lewisberry, Pennsylvania, Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Noah Farouk, Katy, Texas, the University of Texas.
Zachary Foster, Lakeshore, Utah, Brigham Young University.
Cyril Simo, Yaoundé, Cameroon, Pennsylvania State University.
Stephanie Golub, Rockville, Maryland, University of Maryland, College Park.
Marina Gonzalez, Hershey, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Neha Gupta, Yardley, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Sage G, Reno, Nevada, University of Nevada, Reno.
Akshata Yalvigi, Avondale, Pennsylvania, Drexel University.
Paul Gottschall, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, Marquette University.
Steve Hatton, Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania State University.
Alexander Heron, Butler, PA, Slippery Rock University.
Sarah Gillespie, Mendham, New Jersey, University of Virginia.
Lisa Yoder, Erie, Pennsylvania, Allegheny College.
Hannah Herbert, Ashland, Virginia, Virginia Commonwealth University.
Timothy Helmuth, Parker, Colorado, University of Colorado at Boulder.
Sarah Hirschberger, Milroy, Indiana, Marian University. Stephanie Hawkins, Finksburg, Maryland, Ursinus College.
Maria Holstrom Mercator, Northampton, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Raisha Ismail, Gaithersburg, Maryland, Williams College.
Lisa Ho, Brooklyn, New York, Stony Brook University.
Don Wan, Dayton, Ohio, Wright State University.
Nani Ibik, Laurel, Maryland, Lincoln University of PA.
Hi, Jenny Kane, Vero Beach, Florida, Elon University.
Kimberly Jane, Belvedere, Tennessee, Trevecca Nazarene University.
Stephen Hope, San Diego, California, UC Santa Barbara.
Alma Yusufagich, Campbell, California, UCLA.
Charles Keith, Hollister, California, West Point.
Thank you. Stephen King, Glen Rock, New Jersey, the College of New Jersey.
Katie Julian, Columbus, Ohio, The Ohio State University.
Carl Capteen, Rochester, New York, SUNY Geneseo.
Christina Lagama, New York City, Barnard College.
Elizabeth Coe from San Francisco, California, University of California, Davis.
Kelly Kahns from Chicago, Illinois, the University of Wisconsin.
Amok Kiran from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania State University.
Alexander Lee, Livingston, New Jersey, Rutgers University.
Bronson Kunzler, Farmington, Utah, Utah State University.
Chongun Jasmine Lee, New York City, Nyack College.
Kayla Krause, Trenton, New Jersey, Rutgers University.
Brooke Piro-Leachak, Hellertown, Pennsylvania, Lehigh University.
Shelby Labe, Montville, New Jersey, Trinity College.
David Locke, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Michael Larson, Salt Lake City, Utah, University of Utah.
Havel Marcus, Phoenix, Arizona, University of Cambridge.
Charles Lee, Rochester, New York, Cornell University.
Carly Macione, Cranford, New Jersey, Rutgers University.
Morgan Lehman, York, Pennsylvania, University of Pittsburgh.
Seth Martin, East Earl, Pennsylvania, Millersville, University of Pennsylvania.
Christine Lin, Cranberry, New Jersey, Cornell University.
Paneet Modgill, Dayton, Ohio, the Ohio State University.
Jeff Lorenz, Pennington, New Jersey, the Pennsylvania State University.
Rhea Mitchell, Niskuna, New York, Penn State University.
Brandon Martinazzi, Crescent, PA, Juniata College.
Matthew Molinaro, Scranton, Pennsylvania, University of Florida.
Ellie McNulty, Annapolis, Maryland, Princeton University.
Drew Mullins, Springfield, Virginia, Swarthmore College.
Zumano Maifa, Queens, New York, City College of New York.
Rebecca Morgus, Glenline, Pennsylvania, Albright College.
Abrar Munim, Baltimore, Maryland, University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
Leah Musser, Selinsgrove, PA, University of Pittsburgh.
Wen Wen, York, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Wendy Osei-Bonsu, Collegeville, Pennsylvania, and the College of St. Benedict.
Shannon Nogarola, Elma, New York, St. Bonaventure University.
RJ Nordell, Urbandale, Iowa, the University of Iowa.
Ritu Patel, Wayne, New Jersey, the College of New Jersey.
Blaine Pritchard, Erie, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Mika Patel, Hamilton, Ontario, McGill University.
Laura Perez, Miami, Florida, Florida International University.
Lindsay Peck, St. Louis, Missouri, Duke University.
Sabrine Saran, San Francisco, California, UC Berkeley.
Jordan Pearson, Wellsville, New York, Houghton College.
Megan Robbins, Boston, Massachusetts, Boston University.
Chandat Fan, Percy, Pennsylvania, University of the Sciences.
Steven Sokolopoulos, Cleveland, Ohio, Valparaiso University.
Muhammad Rahim, Edison, New Jersey, Rutgers University.
Rebecca Smith, Albany, New York, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute.
Anna Tazinski, Highlands Ranch, Colorado, Lafayette College.
Lily Sue, Taiwan, Johns Hopkins University.
Allison Rich, Farmington Hills, Michigan, University of Michigan.
Kyle Tui, Keyport, New Jersey, East Stroudsburg Warrior.
Umar Qureshi, Hershey, Pennsylvania, University of Pittsburgh.
Hari Sun, Marion, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Monica Risk, Apex, North Carolina, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Alyssa Wang Tuan, Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, University of Florida.
Nina Razavi, Pleasanton, California, St. Louis University.
Paolo Ivachani, Parsippany, New Jersey, Muhlenberg College.
Miriam Shalaby, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, University of Pittsburgh.
Ashley Wong, Clarksburg, Maryland, Penn State University.
Catherine Roberts, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Melody Wang, San Gabriel, California, UCLA.
Chris Stout, Hershey, Pennsylvania, Johns Hopkins University.
Megan Wood, Dover Plains, New York, Iona College.
Frank Satriali, Downingtown, Pennsylvania, Bucknell University.
Sarah Weber, Hershey, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Valerie Urban, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Connecticut College.
Maxwell Wright, Mechanicsburg, Brigham Young University.
Emma Wu, Davis, California, UC San Diego.
Afton Wittershins, Seattle, Washington, The College of Worcester.
Benjamin Watt, North Huntington, Pennsylvania, St. Vincent College.
Zeva Graf, Pittsburgh, PA, Penn State University.
Jay Yang, Hershey, Pennsylvania, Penn State University.
Amy Yang, Macungie, Pennsylvania, West Point.
Micah Yoder, New York City, Harvard University.
Monica Zukowski, Erie, Pennsylvania, University of Pittsburgh.
Victoria Yeo, Middletown, Pennsylvania, Lebanon Valley College. Zara Zhu, New York City, New York University.
Got everybody? Please join me in a round of applause. So as you can see, we are really proud of you. Before you sit down, I'm going to ask that you, standing, you medical students, give those parents, spouses, significant others, and all who helped to get you here a standing ovation. Please be seated. I'd now like to introduce Dr. Eileen Moser, the Associate Dean of Medical Education, and Dr. Paul Haydet, our Director of Medical Education Research. These two physicians will explain the process that you undertook to develop your 2019 class entering oath.
Welcome, family and friends. Eileen and I have had the honor of working with your loved ones over the past 2 weeks. During this time, they have written, as a class, the oath that they are about to take. This oath represents their own unique vision for a life well lived in medical school. Colleagues, oaths remind us of who we are and why we're here. They should be taken with conviction and reverence and revisited often. The entering class of 2019 will now take their oath. I'd now like to introduce our Alumni Society representative, Dr. Ninad Pendahar. Dr. Pendahar completed his undergraduate degree from Penn State University, Abington College. He's a graduate of Penn State College of Medicine, class of 2007. He completed his internship in dermatology residency at the Penn State Milton S. Hershey Medical Center. Upon completion of his training, he practiced as a dermatologist in State College, Pennsylvania. And while working full-time, he completed an MBA degree through Penn State University Smeal College of Business. Since 2018, he's a practicing dermatologist with the Dermatology Associates of York in York, Pennsylvania. Dr. Pendahar serves on numerous committees within the American College of Dermatology, and he currently serves as the president of the Penn State College of Medicine Alumni Society Board. Thank you so much, Dr. Pendahar.
Thank you, Dr. Walpa. Thank you for inviting me to represent the Penn State College of Medicine Alumni Society on this special occasion. And a special welcome to the entering class of 2019 to the Penn State family. Today marks the realization of a dream for you, and I'm honored to be able to share this moment with you. As I look around, I see tomorrow's clinicians, researchers, educators, academics, and administrators. You are all leaders. And most importantly, I see my future colleagues as I look around the room today, and I'm deeply energized by that. From personal experience, I can tell you that medical school isn't easy. You've probably heard that multiple times by now. But with the talents that brought you here, and the family and friends who support you, and most importantly, your faculty and fellow students, you'll make it. Each of you has probably found a note card placed in your white coats. These are well wishes from fellow alumni across the nation. I may have even written a few of those. And some alumni have included their contact information. And if they did in that note, I encourage you to reach out to them. They really want to hear from you. Today, you take the first step in a journey of joining a community of Penn State Medicine alumni, nearly 10,000 strong. As you look at these notes, you'll find a few common themes. Number one, relax. You got this. You can do this. Number two, med school is more than books. Instead, it's a community that you'll rely and reflect upon the rest of your life. Number three, engage and experience everything you possibly can with your fellow students, and they will be responsible for a lot of your success and fond memories. And I can tell you, probably the closest friends who I'm still in touch with, I made during medical school. And we don't talk about medicine when we talk. In the next 4 years, give or take, depending on if you do the MMed or MBA or MPH or all the other multiple degrees that we have, or MD, PhD, you'll find out what I know is to be true. The Penn State College of Medicine is special and unique. And that's what keeps me coming back to events like this. On behalf of our entire alumni community and the Alumni Society Board, welcome. The alumni community has made a strong commitment to help each and every student through these very exciting years. We are a resource for you during your years at Hershey, whether it's hosting you when you travel for your residency interviews or networking with you at career night. We're also a professional network for you beyond graduation and residency. When you're looking for that first job out of residency, don't forget about us. Oftentimes we have a job for you. In fact, you are the first class to be presented with the stethoscopes that have been gifted by the Alumni Society, many of whose members are here in the audience today. I still have that stethoscope I bought. Remember, I bought the first year of medical school. Now, as a dermatologist, I don't use it much. And if you go into dermatology, you'll see why. There's other tools we like to play with. But I still have it. I know exactly where it is. And I hope that you will carry this stethoscope with you throughout your career. And I hope every time that you use that stethoscope, you remember that the College of Medicine alumni community is standing with you and cheering you on through your medical education journey. I look forward to following your journey. Once again, congratulations, and we are. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pendekar, for returning to Hershey today and for those words for our students. Would all the alumni in the audience from, let's go with any aspect of Penn State University, would you please stand so we could give all of you a round of applause for your support? Thank you. Thank you for all you do quietly, and thank you for what you've done today for our students by gifting them the stethoscopes. In closing, I'd also like to recognize Lou Levine, who not only served as our student speaker, but you may have noticed that he was our musical accompanist as well. So Lou, thank you very much. And as you know, these kinds of occasions are the work of many people, and so please offer a round of applause to the staff of the Offices of Student Affairs and Medical Education for making this such a wonderful afternoon. So thank you. Thank you all for joining us today for this special ceremony. And again, to our first-year students, we welcome you and look forward to meeting you and your guests at the reception that will follow. No more. We ask the audience to remain seated while our students make their way out of the convention hall. Enjoy the rest of this special day of your medical journey and this first day of your white coat. So will the first row please rise?